What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. Today, we're going to bring you a new series where we do a deep dive into some draft profiles for players that you should expect to be drafted in April's NFL draft. Today, we're going to take a look at Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence, the consensus number one overall pick. We're going to take a deep dive into what we like about him, what we don't like about him, his measurables, and everything you need to know. All that and much more coming your way right now. Nick, we are right into it. Everybody is yearning for some draft content. We are here. We're looking for it. And you know what? Who better to start with than Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, I mean, this is the most. I guess I would have to say this is the second most exciting time of the year, besides the regular season. Actually,
Fair.
watching football's fun, but getting ready for the draft is always a lot of fun. You get to learn about these new guys who we get to watch for the next 10, 15 years. And looking at Trevor Lawrence, I mean, this guy is an absolute stud. What isn't there to like about Trevor Lawrence? And there's a reason that he is the only option here for the Jacksonville Jaguars at 6'6" and 220 pounds. Just taking his frame. I mean, you look at some big quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers and Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. Look at what these guys have done in their careers. They have just been absolute dominant for their franchises, and they most of the time turn out to be long-term quarterbacks that you never have to worry about. So just looking at his frame, that he's going to be most likely a really long-term starter for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Trevor Lawrence, his build is definitely something teams are looking for at 6'6", 220 pounds. He's built to last and he's built to take hits. And with the style of football that both the NFL and quarterbacks are required to play now, we're looking at more hits. We're looking at more out of the pocket, try to make more plays with your feet, become more dynamic, multifaceted type of quarterback here. Some would say we're kind of regressing a little bit with the added passing plays on top of it. But overall, I think you have to take a look here and say, that there really isn't anybody else that is worthy of the number one overall pick. I like Trevor Lawrence. I like him out of Clemson. Dabo Sweeney has been noted as saying for years that Deshaun Watson was arguably the best player that he has ever coached in his entire career. And he said that Trevor Lawrence 2 years ago was on the same level as Deshaun Watson when he got drafted, which is absolutely incredible. He has had 2 years to develop since then. And I absolutely believe that Trevor Lawrence, I mean, there's only so many great things you can say about the guy.
Yeah, I mean, going through his tape and watching everything he has produced in his collegiate career, he's got an amazing read progression. He goes through reads extremely fast, and he has one of the strongest arms in the draft. He can throw the ball anywhere on the field, and that deep ball is as precise as it gets for a quarterback. I really like how he's able to extend plays with his feet, running out of the pocket, but he also ran a lot of read options in college too. So he's going to be able to handle an NFL style offense like Urban Meyer is about to bring to the Jaguars, where it's going to be fast paced, up tempo, and they're going to be utilizing his feet as well as his arm. So I think he's going to fit really well with this system and what they have to offer. And he knows how to put enough power behind his passes. He knows not when to take some off, when to put a little extra on the ball to get the ball precisely where it needs to be. He's never, overutilizing his arm like we see in other quarterbacks like Drew Lock and Baker Mayfield, just doing too much a lot of the time. So I think that he has a good sense of how to work the field and gauge defenses.
Yeah, I agree. And, just to expound on what we're talking about with Trevor Lawrence in the read option, I think it's pretty certain that he's going to be going number one overall. So I'm going to talk a little more about his fit with the Jaguars in this video specifically. And what I see here is Darrell Bevel, the offensive coordinator, and Brian Schottenheimer, the passing game coordinator, who both of these guys were former offensive coordinators for Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. They understand mobile quarterbacks. They understand how to get the ball out early and often. They know how to spread it around the field, and they understand the read options, the play progression, how that all unfolds. They're going to work extensively with Trevor Lawrence. You saw in the video of Trevor Lawrence's pro day that Urban Meyer wouldn't stand more than 10 feet behind him because he didn't want to let Lawrence out of his sight. This guy is absolutely sold on Trevor Lawrence being the number one overall pick, and rightfully so. He's built an entire coaching staff to fit the scheme that best fits Trevor Lawrence's skill set.
Yeah, and I think, with every quarterback, doesn't matter who you are, you're going to have some cons about you. With Trevor Lawrence, it's very minimal and they're kind of nitpicky. But I think that when you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're still very much a rebuilding team. And what we saw with Clemson last season was they lost a lot of players to the draft in 2020. And this past season, they just weren't the same. He was struggling with the weapons he had around him. I wonder if he's going to struggle with the weapons they have right now in Jacksonville without having the elite of the elite weapons that he had in Clemson. I think that he'll be able to make it work because we're at the NFL level now, and these are the best of the best. So I think he'll be fine. Laviska Shenault showed last season that his injury history is a thing of the past, and he's ready to play, and he's living up to his ceiling. And you have DJ Chark, who is a star, but he hasn't had a quarterback and is going to thrive with Trevor Lawrence. So I think he'll be fine just there. And the other nitpicky thing I have about Trevor Lawrence is he tries to extend plays a little too much. And I think quarterbacks need to be a little bit more safer in general about extending plays. We saw with Dak Prescott, that was a horrific injury, and that could have been avoided if he wasn't trying to extend plays when he didn't have to. And I think Trevor Lawrence, with his big frame, he's a huge target for the defense, and they're going to make big hits on him. He's got to be very careful about when to let off the gas and just go down to the ground.
Yeah, I agree. His football IQ is it's one of the best that I've seen coming out of the draft since probably Andrew Luck. I mean, this guy understands the game of football to such a fundamental level and has such an understanding of what needs to be done, how it needs to get done, and what the best way to do it is that, you take a look at some of these guys who are the best in their field at what they do, and they can break things down onto such a molecular level that most people just don't comprehend. That's what we're looking at here with Trevor Lawrence and in his ability to do just that. So overall, listen, I understand that there's definitely some things he needs to work on. That's with every quarterback. Even Tom Brady will tell you he has things to work on. And if he has things to work on, there's not a single player in the NFL that doesn't either. So I'm just I'm satisfied with where Trevor Lawrence is right now. I know that the Jacksonville Jaguars are all in on him. I'm looking for them to spend some money in free agency, maybe go after, another weapon for him. They have Tyler Eifert. They've gotten some really good selections, and they're going to build around making this offense as prolific as they can possibly be around Trevor Lawrence. And I think this is the perfect fit for him right now.
Yeah, and when we look at NFL comparisons, I don't think we need to look too much farther than Andrew Luck. I think that him and Andrew Luck both knew right away out of college that they knew how to read defenses very well. They knew how to throw touch passes and get the ball to their receivers and make their receivers look good, and knew how to break down defenses in a way that really made it easy for the rest of the offense. So I think that Trevor Lawrence is truly going to succeed and have similar success that Andrew Luck had. I mean, right out of the gate, Andrew Luck was bringing the Colts to playoffs. It would be impressive to see Trevor Lawrence do it, but I wouldn't say I'm severely shocked by it.
Yeah, I like Trevor Lawrence being compared to Andrew Luck here. I'm going to compare him mentally to Andrew Luck. It's going to be a two-part here. Andrew Luck definitely and on the mental side of things, but physically, I'm taking a look at somebody like Dak Prescott. I like what he shows in his ability to throw the ball anywhere on the field. He's extremely mobile. He can escape the pocket, and he has the ability to read very quickly and get through his progressions. So I think he's a mix of both. I think Trevor Lawrence is sort of a player that we really haven't seen. His frame is a lot leaner than what we saw with Andrew Luck. So that's the only drawback I have with comparing him to Luck. With that being said, thank you all for watching and make sure to like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.